Okay, we're back in. Yeah, we're back in on the dongle. Sorry, we're back in on the dongle, Cameron. Do you want to just test that for a minute or so? Hopefully we don't have any of the breaks. Okay, we will. We'll have a little bit of an off-air chat here. A little bit of a pre-introduction to my guest today, James Lampard. James, there will be a few people listening already, I'm absolutely sure, but we're going to just test our levels and the connection. A big game at Meadowbank, and I know they're getting bigger by the season, aren't they here? What a wonderful story. It's not been the happy hunting ground this season that it has been, though. What do you put that down to?
It's hard to put my finger on it, really, Rob. I think a mixture of things. I think there is a little bit of that second season syndrome where some teams have kind of perhaps worked out a little bit how we play. There's a bit more homework obviously being done about us now. Obviously, without sounding like a broken record, we do have injuries and suspensions, but I think we started slow, and I know that Mark said obviously our pre-season wasn't the best, and that perhaps put us on the back foot early on as well. So there's all those kind of things. We're very much that kind of, like last season we had a good run as the season went on later on in the season, and I think most Dorking fans will be thinking that something similar can happen again this year with players coming back from injuries. And obviously these games are massive and you want to win them and stuff, but there's always that bigger picture. And for Dorking, the expectation levels generally are wanting to stay in this division really and get those players back out on the pitch. So
yeah, I think absolutely it's crucial, isn't it, for this season, with the plans to maybe complete the giant stride towards full-time next season. They just need to take care of business, don't they, and make sure that they are indeed in this division come the start of next season.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this club's never been relegated, and we certainly don't want that to happen. We want to stay in this league and become a fixture in the National League, and have these sort of games against local clubs like Aldershot and Woking, who bring lots of good support to the town and put money into the club and things like that and get behind their team. So hopefully that continues, and yeah, being full time and dropping out this division would be a nightmare, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Mark White, the Aldershot, I beg your pardon, let me start that again. I don't want to start rumours. Mark White, the Dorking Wanderers owner, chairman and manager, is making his way out already. Looks like he's dropped the microphone in the dressing room and left him to it, as he is. He normally out this early, 7 minutes to 3.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. Mark likes that sort of thing. He'll come out on his own. He knows that he's going to get a rapturous applause and lots of cheering and backing from the fans on the bank there behind the goal. Mark's a showman. He loves that sort of thing. Yeah, he'll come out. His coaching staff come out. He'll come out separately, followed by cameras and people, a bunch of amateurs and things like that. So that's Mark. He always does that, Rob.
Good stuff. That's James Lampard alongside me, Rob Worrell. We'll do a full and formal introduction very shortly. We'll be on air live, both on the internet and also on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey for the entire game this afternoon. We'll also be going across to Forest Green, where Gary Smith will be reporting on how Crawley get on, and then we'll be joining Bryn Lucas at Woking, who are at home to High Flying Bromley. That's another side at home out of form to a side in form, and we'll also get half-time and full-time updates from Kevin Anderson at Eastbourne, who are taking on Scotty Davies Slough this afternoon. We are close to a sellout here at Meadowbank, and Meadowbank awaits right now 900 and so many Aldershot Town fans. They didn't quite make the 1,000. They weren't too far off it. A magnificent following nonetheless for the Shots, and what I think is about 26 miles. A lot of people wouldn't call it a derby. I guess Dorking and Woking's much more of a derby, isn't it, James? But it's a BBC Surrey derby. We'll call it that at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think as the crow flies, or you took a straight line, there'd be too much between the two, really. We don't get many local games, so Aldershot Woking will be our big rivals.
Okay, we'll just let them introduce it and then we'll get going. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, George. Welcome to our BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey listeners. Joining those listening online and listening via the BBC Sport app. We've got a quite magnificent feast ahead of us this afternoon here at Meadowbank, where 17th place Dorking Wanderers will take on Aldershot Town in 7th place at the minute. They've just got up to that lofty playoff perch on Tuesday with a 4-2 comeback win against Maidenhead. Meanwhile, Wanderers were set for a point at Bromley, but conceded late on to a hotly disputed goal from a player that might have been sent off, lobbing the ball over a goalkeeper that was contentiously fouled on his way out. Both sides coming out onto the pitch here now at Meadowbank. Wanderers in their home kit of red and white stripes, blue shorts and red and blue socks, and the Shots in their away kit of all yellow with black flashing, acknowledging their supporters. Our referee is Callum Wolchester this afternoon. I think he's about as tall as most of the centre backs and centre forwards, probably not outdoing Jordi van Stappershoef for height. He's 6'5". Let me introduce then alongside me a former Dorking Wanderers player and the host of the Talking Wanderers podcast, James Lampard. A very good afternoon to you, James.
Good afternoon, Rob. It's an absolute honour to be here with you. Different view for me today, sitting up here from where I normally am.
Yeah, but James has already waved to his mother, almost opposite, just behind the Dorking dugout, away to the right, where you'd normally be sat just to pick up those little nuggets from the management bench.
Yeah. I mean, having played for Wanderers a long time ago now, but having played, I've heard most of those things from Mark before. Quite a lot of them directed in my direction as well. So yeah, it's an interesting place to stand on match days, definitely over there.
Slider, Mark White tells me that James was called. Got the longest sliding tackle in the game, but a bit like myself, your footballing days are definitely behind you, but your involvement with Dorking Wanderers you're absolutely loving, and you host the occasional Talking Wanderers podcast too. You enjoying that?
Yeah, we do. We've been a bit slack this year. It's been difficult to get everybody together in one place. Obviously, we used to have Gary Pascoe, who used to do commentary as well with us before he sort of hung up his microphone, but we are looking to get a few more episodes in, but there are plenty out there if anybody's listening. We do have them. They're all on YouTube and various different podcast hosts.
Good stuff. Right, let's get to the teams then. 4 changes for the home side. Out go Frankham, injured. Josh Taylor suspended. Harry Ottaway to the bench, and Tom Blair also injured. But they have been able to recall the experience today of McManus, Pryor and Fuller the skipper, as well as Jimmy Mewett, who's a popular figure down here. He's come back from his loan at Bognor Regis, and he starts this afternoon in one of the wing-back berths. Matty Briggs the other side. So Harrison Mayle in goal. Goalkeeper signed from Worthing in the summer. Joe Cook, Dan Gallagher and Barry Fuller the skipper, the centre-backs. Dan Pybus will hold the midfield, and he'll be supported by McManus and Luke Moore, Matty Briggs and Jimmy Mewett wide, and Ryan Seeger playing just off of Jason Pryor. For the Shots, 3 changes. Out go Minoga, Haig and Barham, I think all to the bench, and in comes Theo Widrington, Josh Stokes and Kwame Thomas. Full lineup: Jordi van Stappershoef in goal. And Harfield, Harries and Rowe the centre-backs, and Glover and Jones the wing-backs, Willard and Widrington in midfield, Josh Stokes behind Tolaj and Kwame Thomas. All good, James? We're set to go. You all good?
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Right. Aldershot have got kick-off, and they are kicking towards the most populated Dorking home end in the first half. Theo Widrington exchanges passes with Harries, goes forward to Kwame Thomas. He gets the flick on, but that's nice and easy for Dan Gallagher to deal with, and he spreads the ball out to Joe Cook, and players from both sides just trying to get a little bit of a feel for the ball early on here. Flair's gone off somewhere because I can taste the fumes in my mouth. Good 50-50 there between Pryor and Rowe. Rowe wins that one, but can only poke the ball to a Dorking player. And Pybus, Cook and Gallagher go back to the skipper, Fuller. We don't really know quite how fit, certainly not match fit Fuller, and nor is McManus. They've had a few minutes here and there, but yeah, Ryan Seeger. Well, that's all right. James has just spotted something in the Dorking lineup, James.
Yeah, so Tuesday night, although Ryan
hang
Seeger...
on, here's Luke Moore breaking through, up against the final third, trying to make room for a shot. Seeger's in, manages to push it wide, and there's an offside given against Dorking. So sorry, something from Tuesday night different to today?
No, actually quite similar, Rob. Ryan Seeger, although named up alongside Harry Ottaway on Tuesday, did a lot of dropping back, sort of supplementing and making an extra man in midfield, and immediately there he did very similar. He dropped into that little pocket, almost like a number 10, and leaving Pryor up on his own. And with those sort of creative players out and missing in midfield, it wouldn't surprise me to see him doing that again today and trying to drag one of the Aldershot defenders out just to follow him and disrupt their shape.
So early on then, Aldershot looked to play short from the goal kick and play out from the back. Here's Rowe, who's going to try a diagonal ball up towards Kwame Thomas now. Gets a little flick on, but Matty Briggs gets to it first and he clears to touch. The Shots will have an attacking throw in, level with the edge of the Dorking Wanderers penalty area. Good afternoon to Keith Deere, who's tuned in from Bath, Somerset. Quite a few other regulars listening as well. Welcome to BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, online and the BBC Sport app. 0-0 here, 2.5 minutes in between Dorking Wanderers and Aldershot Town. Ollie Harfield's going to take a throw. This might be a long one. They may be setting up to look for Kwame Thomas. Thomas can't make contact. It's a little cushioned header from Fuller, and then Briggs clears over his head and into touch by the Aldershot Town dugout opposite ourselves. James and I are pretty much on the halfway line in the main stand here at Dorking. 2 3/4 minutes gone. Dorking 0, Shots 0. No scares for either side early on, and somewhat of a muted atmosphere. There's good work from Seeger to win the ball back. Plays it off Jones, so it will be a throw to Dorking on halfway. Some doubts about the ability to go the distance of some of the Dorking Wanderers players, but they've been able, despite the injury problems, to pick a pretty experienced starting 11. Mostly square pegs in square holes as well.
Yeah, I think fortunately there had been a little bit of cover for some of those injuries. So yeah, although Jimmy knew it wouldn't technically class himself as a left-sided wing back, but he's having to do that job today, and I think it's just getting him back in there, having come back from his loan spell at Bognor.
Yeah, he did his best work last season on the right-hand side, but that's Briggs' berth right now. Ball comes off Kwame Thomas's back there. He's appealing for the throw. And the referee overrules the assistant referee, who thinks quite rightly, according to Thomas, that the final contact came off a Dorking player. Throw in, taken from Jones to Stokes. In towards Tollage. Tries a little flick at what he thought was into the path of Theo Widrington, making a rare run into the penalty area there. Didn't quite get that one right, but the Swiss striker in blistering form. 2 goals on Tuesday night, a hat-trick in the FA Cup a couple of weeks ago. He's up to double figures now for the season, the former Brighton striker. And of course, just a couple of goals behind him is Josh Stokes, who the Shots managed to win without in midweek against Maidenhead, whilst he was at his mother's wedding. There's a ball over the top from Dorking. Glover is doing pretty well. No, he didn't. He tried to get his body in between Briggs and the dead ball line, but I think there was just a little bit of a ricochet just before it crossed the line, and the corner has been given to the Wanderers. The first corner of this afternoon, coming in the 5th minute. I'm Rob Worrell, alongside me is James Lampard, and you listen to BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey or online or via the BBC Sport app. The corner is taken short from Moore. Another ball back in. 2 Dorking players end up on the floor, nothing given. Widrington lifts a ball forward, which will go all the way through to Harrison Mail. James, spot anything unfair on either Dorking player
it's hard
there?
to tell. 2 of them went down. Pryor's protesting, but ref not interested. Very difficult to tell there. That was quite an unfamiliar corner routine really from Dorking there, going short and then looking for somebody in the 6-yard box.
Just over the 5 minutes in, around about 10 minutes we'll go across a couple of other grounds this afternoon. We'll see how Crawley are getting on at Forest Green and Woking at home to Bromley. Here at Meadowbank it's goalless at the moment between the Shots and the Wanderers. Fairly considered start from both sides, a little bit cautious. Pryor tries to turn the ball around the corner and can't. Willard picks it up, but he's cautious himself and he just turns back towards his own half and feeds Harries, who then feeds Kobe Rowe. He tries a ball into the feet of Kwame Thomas, but good work there from Joe Cook just to get a foot in, and the Wanderers have wrestled it back again. It'll be interesting to see how the possession stats go. On Tuesday night, Wanderers tried to starve Bromley of the ball, didn't they? Did pretty well, 67% possession, but Bromley, a little bit like Barnet, are very adept at finding a way at whatever point in the match it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's typical of Dorking really. We are a possession-based side. It just depends where we have that possession sometimes, Rob, because we do have it quite deep at times. Good
work from Fuller getting to the loose ball in front of Glover, and now Briggs is on the right-hand side and he looks to square it. It's cut away by Harfield. It will be a second corner of the afternoon to the home side, and certainly Wanderers have started this one better than they did the equivalent league match last year, where the Shots eventually won 3-0. The subsequent game, I think, was the one in the FA Trophy, ended up 2-0 at Aldershot to the Shots. The next one was 1-0. So we're set for a 0-0, but I don't see one of those happening today.
We do at least a goal against Aldershot. It'd be interesting to see if Dorking do the similar corner routine here. I'm sure Pryor's made the referee aware that there's sort of pushing and holding going on in the box as well.
Yep. Here's Luke Moore with the corner. Lovely delivery, and Glover does well to meet it just before Gallagher and turn it into touch. Dan Gallagher, of course, Wanderers fans would know anyway, and most Shots fans too. The brother of Jake, a former Shots legend, and also Codder, who not just plays for but now captains Chelsea as well. And Dan Gallagher, for me, easily the pick of the Dorking Wanderers players in those 3 games last season. He produced a few heroics, but he couldn't keep the clean sheets Dorking needed. Here's the throw into the box. Rowe jumps highest, and it's going to come back in. There's a little flick. Oh! And it's that man, Jason Pryor, with a near post flick. Geordie van Stappershoef unsighted and nowhere near it. And just 8 minutes in, here at Meadowbank, the Wanderers are ahead. Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0.
Well, I mean, the defending initially wasn't brilliant. We spoke earlier in the week, didn't we, Rob, about Josh Taylor's long throw missing, but Niall McManus there stepped up, and it wasn't a bullet throw or particularly long, but it wasn't dealt with initially by Aldershot. Came back to McManus, who floated a lovely ball in for Pryor, who does what he does best, and flicked it into the far post, and good view of that, and keeper with no chance.
Absolutely. Dorking Wanderers have scored their first goal against Aldershot Town. We set that up rather nicely, didn't we, James?
We did, yeah.
Here's Tolladge turning, but losing the ball, and Seeger picks it up, and what a settler that will be for Mark White's men. As I say, no home win since mid-September, 4 straight defeats on the trot, but this one is started against form. Here's Joe Cook playing the ball inside, and he finds Seeger. Seeger out to the left to Pryor. Pryor holds it up and goes back to Jimmy Mewett. Is he going to try and effort himself from the edge of the penalty area? He might. He does. And it's on target, and it's plucked out of the air by Geordie van Stappershoef. But Dorking almost doing an Aldershot Town there and scoring 2 goals in a minute, James.
Yeah, well, that was Jimmy Mewett at his best there, coming in off the left. I think the keeper probably just sort of predicted where he was looking to hit that, because he comfortable save in the end, not having to reach too far for it. But positive early start from Dorking.
Very good start. Yeah, absolutely. Aldershot haven't really settled as yet, and they find themselves behind. Word of caution, James, in 3 of Aldershot's last 4 games, they have gone behind and still come through and won. So, as you'll be the first to admit anyway, there's a long way to go. Here's Tolaj stroking the ball into the path of Harfield. And Harfield tries a deep and early cross. Stokes can't quite get up there. Kwame Thomas tries an overhead kick. Doesn't make full connection. Ends up in a heap on the floor. Nothing given. And Dorking come away with the ball. And the referee has stopped it out of concern for Kwame Thomas. I think he was entitled to have a swing, but Dorking stood up and managed to get the block in, James.
Yeah, good defending there. It's quite dangerous. That initial cross in was well one at the back post, obviously looking for him back across the 6-yard box. And you're right, Rob, he was entitled to go for that. I think he's just landed awkwardly and strained. He's holding his hamstring, but he's back up now.
Okay, look, we've got a slight stoppage in play. No better time to go across our other grounds. I can tell you that Eastbourne Borough 1-0 up against Slough Town. And there's been a couple of goals in the National League as well. We'll come to them in a bit. But can we go perhaps to Forest Green, Gary Smith, and see how Crawley have started down at Forest Green? Okay. That's all right. I'll turn you up a bit. Very good. Thank you very much indeed, Gary. So Crawley ahead down at Forest Green, and Dorking are ahead here. What about Woking at home to inform Bromley? How have the cards started, Bryn Lucas? Dorking in possession at the moment, just going down the right wing. Harfield's won the ball back for the Shots and he clears forward. That will find touch in front of the Shots dugout. 12 minutes gone, Dorking 1, Aldershot Town 0.
That Briggs and...
1 second. Thank you very much indeed, Bryn, much appreciated. So mixed fortunes for our sides so far this afternoon. Here at Meadowbank with 12 minutes gone, it's Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0. Pryor with a very Pryor-esque header at the near post from McManus's cross. Jimmy Mewett going close just after as well, calling the save from... Oh, it's a terrible miss on a back pass. Pryor nearly got it. Van Stappershoef completely went with the air shot and the ball's ended up behind the goal. Nervy start from the Shots. Corner to Dorking. Quick word, James?
Yeah, I mean, that was... I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know if it bobbled, but the keeper was a bit nervous there. He was caught in his heels a little bit. I was just saying that Briggs and Fuller link up down that right-hand side is key really for Dorking. That was such a big part of our National League South campaign, and unfortunately not played a lot since then. With good results come expectations, and it's Aldershot under the weight of huge expectation today, who very nearly find themselves in embarrassing form, 2-0 down here. They will survive. Referee Callum Wolchester is having a word with 2 of the more diminutive players, McManus and Widrington. Towers over them. He's a good 6'2" himself, and he's finished his little talk. Luke Moore with 2 hands in the air is going to send the corner in now, and it's headed away by Kwame Thomas at the near post, but I think he may have taken it before the whistle had gone, so we may get a retake of the corner. 13 and a half minutes gone here at Meadowbank, and the Wanderers lead by 1-0. They've had leads here this season that have been thrown away. I'm thinking of Rochdale and Barnet, but as we said, Aldershot have been coming from behind with good regularity recently. We didn't think we'd ever get a 0-0, and that one's out the window. I think Luke Moore's endearing himself to the Aldershot fans down there in the corner, Rob.
Poor pushing again. Corner comes in from Luke Moore, and Ryan Glover rises highest. Another header from Jones. Ball comes back in. Glover heads it inside. Widrington heads it away. Out to Luke Moore. He looks to keep the ball between Cook and Pybus. Now out to Jimmy Mewett. Back on his right foot, sends the ball in. Kobe Rowe will head that one away. And Lauren Tolaj will battle hard for it, but he won't get there. The ball will drift into touch over on the far side. 14 and a half minutes gone. You're listening to BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, BBC Sport Online, or the BBC Sport app. Welcome wherever you're listening from. Again, the referee on his whistle, but he's happy with where that throw's being taken from. Good flick on from Pryor. Kean Harries gets the ball first. Willard does well to chest it down, but can only hook it as far as Mewett, who's just holding the ball up now and looking for options. It's been an odd start for the Shots. Very, very nervy. Haven't really shown much going forward. I don't think the game plan was to try and keep it tight. There's a good win from Harries, and he finds Stokes, who quickly prods the ball forward looking for Tolaj. Tolaj can't get that. Dorking have cleared it all up again and gone back to Harrison Mayle, who's not been troubled in these opening 15 minutes. He drops the ball to Dan Gallagher. Mixed afternoon today. We've had rain already. There may be some more in the air. We've got some little pockets of blue sky and white clouds, so a little bit of everything, and a little bit of everything on the pitch so far this afternoon as well, except any efforts on goal from the Shots, James. You've got to be happy with the opening
15 minutes gone.
Yeah.
Extremely happy. I mean, I think Mark will be very pleased. The management team will be pleased. Obviously, as you've already said, Rob, we've been in front numerous times this season, not just at home but away. Obviously, Tuesday night at Bromley, we scored a sort of similar moment to today. So a long way to go yet, and I'm sure Aldershot will grow into this. Game goes
they're
on.
Playing it around the final third at the minute. Now Glover finds Stokes, tries an early ball into Tolaj and gets that wrong, but he battles back onto it and wins it back. Now the ball breaks free. Stokes tries to pass into Tolaj. Tolaj's shot is blocked. Brilliant recovery by Fuller. Can only find Glover. Glover will feed Harfield. One touch and in comes the cross. That's headed up and away from Fuller again. What a talisman he is coming back into the side. Pryor gets something on it. Rowe back in. Luke Moore holding it up. And Dorking will play it out to the left-hand side where it will find touch. Luke Moore, who's not always a first choice for Dorking Wanderers, obviously played a huge part in that playoff win, didn't he? That I was fortunate to call here. But he's in good form at the minute, isn't he?
Well, I mean, you say that, Rob. Yeah, Bromley Tuesday night was one of his first games back, actually, from injury. Got through 90 minutes and played really, really well. And he just brings loads of experience to this Dorking team. And he can play in numerous different positions as well. He can play in front of the back three or just push up and be in that number 10. But yeah, bags of experience in this Dorking team.
Shots have put together 4 or 5 passes. Is Harfield trying to get a cross in? That's blocked at source by Jason Pryor. 17 and a half minutes gone here at Meadowbank. And it's Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0. Jason Pryor, who else? The Wanderers' top scorer. I think all the rest of the other players' goals added up are a similar total to Jason Pryor's now. Tom Blair's got the second most with 3 goals and he's now out injured. Widrington tries to head it back but can only find Seeger, and then good recovery work from Kean Harries. Widrington finds his midfield colleague Willard, and Willard finds Jones, and the Shots are getting plenty of possession now, James. They're just trying to settle into this one a little bit. When it goes to Rowe, that's when it often goes long. He goes on the floor this time to Tolaj. He plays it back to Willard. And Wanderers out of possession, getting everybody behind the ball. It's a collective team effort this afternoon. And why not? They've got something to protect here. 18 minutes gone.
And you see even Jason Pryor's dropped deep here, Rob, as well. So Ryan Seeger's the furthest Dorking Wanderers player forward, because Pryor does so much defensive work, and he'll know that if balls come into the box or around the box, he'll be there to try and head them away and do that at set pieces as well.
There's a foul, nothing more than a foul from Dan Pybus on Stokes in the middle of the Dorking Wanderers half. Widrington's interested in the free kick, as is Ryan Glover. In fact, Widrington's walked away from it now. It's going to be a high defensive line from the Wanderers, just outside the penalty area. Pryor is a part of that. Seeger stays up top. Everybody else behind the ball. We're almost through 90 minutes. In comes the cross from the free kick from Glover. It's headed away. I thought it was a handball there by McManus. So did the referee. He sort of put his arm around the side of the player and handballed it. And it is a free kick to the Shots just outside the centre circle. As the sun breaks through again here at Dorking.
I was just thinking that, Rob. Actually, as that free kick came in, there were players in the box with their hands over their eyes, and Harrison Mayle as well, who isn't wearing a cap.
Yeah. Here's Willard on the ball and the edge of the area, twisting turn. He's going to try a shot from distance. That's blocked and collected by Fuller. What a start he's had to the game today. Be delighted to be back in, and he's the sort of character that even if he's not fully fit, he'll work his way somehow through 90 minutes if he has to. Here's Willard battling with Pryor. Pryor does brilliant. He lost the ball and Willard was strong favourite, but Pryor got going again, buoyed by his goal. Had a rest in the week as well, I'm told. Wasn't injured.
No, he wasn't involved at Bromley.
He was at a wedding as well, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't think it was
straight back into that.
I don't think it was Josh Stokes' mum's wedding, though, was it? Certainly not. Rhetorical, yeah. You didn't need to answer that one, that's fine. That's James Lampard, ex-Dorking Wanderers player and current host of the Talking Wanderers podcast, alongside myself, Rob Worrell. We're on 20 minutes here, so very shortly we will get updates again from Gary and Bryn on those Woking and Crawley games. A few goals in the National League already. Maidenhead are 1-0 up against Eastleigh, and Altrincham are 1-0 up through Justin Amaluzor at Oldham Athletic. And while the ball's in play, out of play on halfway, let's see if we can get an update from Gary Smith, who's reporting on Crawley at Forest Green. Dorking still in possession. Appealed for a free kick, they've still got it. Pryor sends it inside. Kean Harries will hook his clearance away, only as far as Moore. Steers it into the path of Fuller. Fuller finds McManus. A little nibble foul from Tommy Willard. And it's a dangerous looking free kick for the Wanderers. Thank you very much indeed, Gary, and we'll go straight for a nice quick update from Bryn Lucas at Woking against Bromley. Thank you very much indeed, Bryn. So we're in the 22nd minute here. Wanderers already 1-0 up. They've got a free kick. Luke Moore sends it into the penalty area. It's headed away by Ollie Harfield. Only as far as Pybus, who shoots on target but into the wall. Sent back in. Rowe heads it away. Harries heads it on. Stokes heads it on. But again, it'll only go to a Wanderers player. That's Briggs. Briggs does well to control it and evade the challenge from Kwame Thomas. And Luke Moore will go all the way back to Harrison Mayle. And the great thing when you've got that early goal, James, you can afford sometimes to say, all right, we'll come again, we'll just keep the ball, we'll go back to the keeper. And nobody minds in the crowd, do they? They don't mind when you're ahead in a game.
No, definitely not. Although Briggs has just been robbed of possession and Aldershot are on the attack.
And he's still down, Briggs. Glover has fed Stokes. Got the ball back from Stokes now. It looks as if he might be just checking things out and getting back to his feet. We hope so. He spent far too long out of football as Matty Briggs. Here's Jones to Widrington. Back to Jones. So far, Dorking Wanderers are managing to plug any little gaps that Aldershot are creating. Here's Rowe, though, towards Tollage. It's a poor pass, and it's picked up by that man, Fuller, who's looking to try and initiate a Wanderers attack here. 23 minutes gone here now at Meadowbank, and James seems to think that might be the end of Matty Briggs' afternoon. What do you reckon, James?
He definitely doesn't look comfortable, does he, Rob? I think he's managed to limp his way back to just outside of halfway. But
and on the bench you can already see somebody ready to come on.
It'll
probably be Bobby Joe Taylor.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll probably see Mewett go over to the right and Taylor over to the left. Jones has won it back for shots, finds Widrington, who finds Tollage. Tollage beats a couple of players. And then a poor pass from Aaron Jones, just signifying again the nerves amongst the Aldershot team as the ball goes to Briggs and he goes down, and the Wanderers' injury curse continues. James Lampard.
Briggs his afternoon's done here, isn't it, Rob? That's extremely unfortunate. I don't know quite what happened. He just pulled up there. It wasn't a foul.
And it's the innocuous
like
ones that are often the worst.
Being stretched out, but Bobby Joe Taylor looks like he's stripped and ready to come on. Jimmy Mewett's going to stride over and go over on the right hand side, I think, and Briggs will probably end up going off and Bobby will come on the left. You're right there, Aldershot were on the attack, and I think that unfortunately was the pitch. I think as he went to play that pass, his foot hit the pitch rather than the ball, which does happen at Meadowbank quite a lot.
Absolutely. I think Mark White has referred to the pitch not being the greatest, even though it's his own club and his own team. He's very honest about it. And I think there have been 3 or 4 ACL, serious knee injuries on this pitch in the last 5 years or so. And unfortunately, Briggs knows all about them. The Wanderers have got something here, and that's a precious lead. Their first ever goal against the Shots. But it's bad news now as Briggs has to come off. And Bobby Joe Taylor, who funny enough started this fixture against Aldershot last year, if I remember correctly, on the left centre-back position. It didn't really work out too well, did it, on the day? But he's going to get a chance to come on against one of his old clubs. Of course, he's played for a few others at this level as well. A reminder, if you've joined us late, that Wanderers are ahead. They scored in just the 8th minute. McManus took a throw. It was half cleared back to him. Chipped it back in. Jason Pryor met it with a deft flick past Van Stappershoef, who was kind of leaden-footed, really. I don't think he anticipated it at all. Whether he'd have got it even if he did, I don't know. And Wanderers very nearly doubled their lead a minute later through Jimmy Mewett, who cut in another shot which Van Stappershoef was equal to. So Bobby Joe Taylor then is on for Briggs, and as I predicted, he comes over to the left-hand side, allowing Briggs to go to his preferred right. And in that respect, Dorking have still got a very strong and effective 11 out there, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we were going to have to make any changes today, that would have been perhaps one of them, although Jimmy Mewett's not been, he's obviously been on loan and his minutes have been managed at Bognor, but that perhaps is going to see him end up having to try and get through 90 minutes here today with another fixture not until next Saturday.
Ball over the top from Dorking. Harris takes no chances and hooks it into touch. It's going to be almost level with the edge of the Aldershot Town penalty area, maybe about halfway inside it actually now, as McManus collects the ball from Mewett. He's going to drop back alongside Fuller and Mark Tolaj. Ball comes in, it's cleared away, only as far as Bobby Joe Taylor. He's on the right side, shifts it. McManus with a lovely cross in. And you know what? Joe Cook up there, got his header on target and headed it wide. And you do wonder if that was Jason Pryor meeting that one. No disrespect to Joe Cook. It might be 2-0, James.
Yeah, great chance. Really, really good ball in again from Niall McManus, and that's dropped over the heads of everybody. And one of those ones I think sometimes you don't anticipate that it's going to get to you, perhaps as a defender rather than a centre forward, and glanced it past the post. Great chance for 2-0 there for Dorking.
Normally, sometimes when you go to an away game, you want to try and quieten the crowd. Nearly 1,000 have come here today from the Shots, and they've been pretty quiet, and they've had no opportunity whatsoever to get going this afternoon. And they're rather stifled at the minute. There might be nearly 1,000 of them, James, but very, very little. Of course, all bar 10% of the away space at all is not covered, and that does tend to lead to a slightly quieter than usual Shots fans.
Yeah, they haven't had a lot to cheer about so far, have they?
No
Tolaj
notes.
there just went down as well, stretched out his calf, but he looks like he's back up and running all right now.
Yeah, we're 28 minutes in, and Aldershot haven't had any kind of effort on goal at all so far. Nothing on target, nothing off target. Wanderers have had 4, well 3 really. There was a bobbled back pass that they very nearly turned in. And Aldershot struggling a little bit to get used to the opposition and the conditions. Here's Bobby Joe Taylor. Skips away from Aaron Jones and skips inside and feeds McManus. It feels like a good day so far for the Wanderers. Mewett takes that on his chest, but he can't keep it in. And it goes behind, away to our left. At times this season, James, Aldershot have been pretty... trying to think of the word, begins with C and it's escaping me at the minute. Clinical, that's the one. When they've had chances, they're going to need to be today, aren't they, to get back in this one. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, as you said, Rob, they've not really given much for their big travelling support to really get behind yet. And Dorking have done a good job of stifling them. It looks like Jimmy Mewett's now got some other black rubber crumb in his eye, I think.
Good spot there. We'll do a quick roundup of the other games in the National League. In about 5 more minutes we'll go across the other games that we're covering this afternoon. So Borehamwood 0, Southend United 1, Ebbsfleet 0, Dagenham Redbridge 0, Mewett receiving treatment 1-0 here to Dorking. Gateshead 0, Fylde 2. Fylde bursting into a little bit of form just lately. First home win in a while on Tuesday night, 3-0. Hartlepool 0, Rochdale 1. It's already Kidderminster 1, Chesterfield 1. Chesterfield, of course, top of the National League table at the moment. Maidenhead United 2-0 up against Eastleigh. They were 2-0 up against Shotts in midweek, and we know how that one ended. Oldham 0, Altrincham 1. Oxford City 0, Barnet 1. Solihull Moors 0, Wealdstone 0. Woking 0, Bromley 0. And York against Halifax is the evening kickoff at 5:30. One or two players from the Aldershot side going over to take some fresh instruction. Harfield and Willard. We're back underway, and Mewett will have to wait the allotted 30 seconds to come back on. We've had 30 and a half minutes, and it's Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0. In the sunshine here in late October at Meadowbank. Breyer heads the ball on and down the line. It just drifts out of play. Still got it, hasn't he, the big man, Jason Pryor? He's resisted playing at this level until last season, didn't he? But eventually came back like the prodigal son.
Yeah, he did. He came back for the trophy game against Aldershot, actually.
He did.
Aldershot's ground in that game over there. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off that day, but Jason's had a massive part to play at this club over the last few years with the goals and his experience and his leadership as well.
Flicking the ball on there. Harries, I think, is going to clear that up towards halfway. Kwame Thomas wins the header into the path of Stokes, who tries to flick it back to Tolaj, but it's past him, and Bobby Joe Taylor shows good awareness, the right place at the right time. Oldham Athletic have equalised at home to Altrincham. Here at Meadowbank, the ball's in touch for a throw into the Wanderers on halfway, and it's the Wanderers who lead by a 0-0. I'm Rob Worrell. Alongside me is former Dorking Wanderers player James Lampard, and you're listening to BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey, BBC Online or the BBC Sport app. Throw in then to the Wanderers, who have that slender lead here, their first ever goal against Aldershot Town. Head tennis down by the touchline. Glover rises again to good effect. Harfield lifts it forward. Pybus can only help it on to Willard, who can only help it to Jason Pryor, who's dropping very deep at times just to get on the ball, just to make things happen for Dorking. Seager often staying the most advanced for Wanderers. Dan Gallagher's got it at the moment. He gives it to McManus, and he goes back to Harrison Mayle. Barnet are now 2-0 up at Oxford City, and Rochdale are now 2-0 up at Hartlepool United. Dan Gallagher in possession, tries a ball into the right channel over the top. Glover can only head it on, and Mewett can let that one bobble away behind the goal for a third corner of the afternoon to the Wanderers.
That ball from Dan Gallagher again there, it's not always been his strength, but Jimmy Mewett is trying to stay quite wide over there, Rob, and Dorking are going to look for that and drop that into those pockets so that he can run onto that and try and put crosses in the box and stretch Aldershot's back three there.
Yep, Cook and Gallagher have made their way forward to join Pryor. A little bit of a bus stop queue forming on the far edge of the Shotts penalty area. Shotts have had it all their way in the previous games against Dorking, but not so far this afternoon at Meadowbank. Here's Moore with the corner. In it comes. Harries rises above Cook. Gallagher can only head it into the path of Stokes, and Glover picks it up and beats Gallagher, but can't beat Mewett. Mewett tries to shake him off and can't. Eventually, though, he goes back to Pybus, and a smattering of applause and a couple of shouts for Jimmy Mewett, who's a popular player in these parts. Won quite a few man of the matches at home last season at Meadowbank. Ball forward from Wanderers, headed into touch by Ollie Harfield. Nearly 34 minutes gone, 1-0, and still going well for the Wanderers, James.
Yep, so far. Again, another attempted diagonal over the head of the left wing back there. Despite the fact that Jimmy Mewett was over on the left hand side, and that would aimed in Bobby Joe Taylor's direction, but similar sort of tactic again, and one that served Wanderers quite well over the seasons, really, where they dropped that ball in over that far side.
Here's Bobby Joe Taylor twisting and turning on the right hand side. Can he get across in? He can to the far post. Pryor heads it across, and there's a header on target from Mewett. Is well saved by Jordi van Stappershoef. Brilliant in the making from Wanderers. Here's Gallagher reading the ball really well. He doesn't need to, actually, because a free kick's been given against Lauren Tallard. He doesn't like it, but he needs to stifle his complaints. Another good chance, James, for Wanderers to go 2-0 up.
Yeah, point blank. He's got a score there, really, Rob. Just a few yards out. He's given the keeper the chance to make that save. I think he's headed it straight at him, really.
Brilliant from Pryor, just to head it back across. And Mewett was one or two Wanderers players in the vicinity. He caught it pretty well. I kind of want to give a bit of credit to Jordi van Stappershoef there. I think it was a bit better than it just hitting him. I think he made a good save there. He may or may not have been able to do better for the opening goal, but he certainly has done well there. And, well, the referee has allowed this to be taken from just inside the Aldershot half. Players from both sides rise. We'll never know who it came off. It doesn't matter anyway, because Ryan Glover collects. And Aldershot have the ball, albeit once again in their own half. The opening 25 minutes of this game, 64% possession to Dorking Wanderers, 36 to the shots. Here's Rowe trying a long diagonal up towards Thomas. Tries to flick inside, looking for Tolaj. Mail comes to the edge of his area to collect. Falls to the ground as if it were beyond the 80-minute mark, but it is probably symptomatic, James, of just what this precious one-goal lead means to Wanderers.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I'm noticing from Aldershot is that Rowe does like to pick that up and go on those long diagonals, doesn't he? I think initially, early on in the game, he was trying to hit feet, but that seems to have changed now, and he's just trying to aim at the heads and the chests of the forwards to try and flick those on and bring the players into play, from switching it from right to left as we look at Aldershot's lineup.
That's James Lampard, 1-0 here to Wanderers. It could be so much more. Harries clears the ball into touch. And Dorking Wanderers get it again, but it goes down the line and rolls into touchline. Throw into shots in the left back position. It's high time that we caught up again with our other games this afternoon. Let's go first of all, if we can please, to Forest Green against Crawley, where Crawley had the early leads. How's it going, Gary Smith? Free kick to Dorking on halfway. Yellow card for Theo Widrington. Thank you very much, Gary. Just give us a moment or two, because Dorking's free kick is going to come into the box here from Fuller. Half-headed clear. Widrington clears it away over his head, but it's picked up by Bobby Joe Taylor, who can assess his options. He's got nobody on him. Tries a deep cross, and Gallagher's still up there. And he's adjudged to have fouled Ollie Harfield, so it'll be a free kick to shots inside their own area. 38 minutes gone, Wanderers 1, shots 0. Let's catch up with Bryn Lucas and see how Woking are getting on at home to Bromley. Aldershot have cleared the ball into touch, throw into Dorking Wanderers. Thank you very much, Bryn Lucas at Woking. 38.5 minutes gone here. It's been Dorking's half. They lead 1-0. It could be more. They have lost Matty Briggs to injury, but that's allowed Mewett to go on his favoured right and Bobby Joe Taylor on the left. And here's Dorking with patient build-up now. McManus, Bobby Joe Taylor. Pryor receives the ball again. Protects it first and foremost. Goes back to Joe Cook. Shots pressing well. Jones almost wins it. Widrington almost wins it. He needs to be careful now. He's got a short fuse. He's picked up a needless yellow card, just purely through chirping away at the referee, nothing else. It was off the ball, purely for dissent. And that kind of yellow card for professional footballers needs to be eradicated now. There's just no need for it. You can have one shout if you're lucky, one appeal, that's it. Get on with it, James.
Yeah, that's why we're missing Josh Taylor today, Rob, because his fifth booking the other night against Bromley was dissent against the referee. And you're absolutely right. It's an easy win, isn't it? You just stop yourself from doing it, and that's put him out of today's game.
One of the reasons we love football is it can be so unpredictable. Wanderers, 4 defeats on the trot, desperate for probably even a point today. Shots coming into it on the back of 4 straight wins, and the shots have literally not turned up in this first half. Timid from the shots, poor on the ball, poor in defence, and they probably should be more than a goal down. Here's Fuller clearing the ball forward, brilliantly controlled by Tommy Widrington on the bench, gives it back quickly to Ollie Harfield. We've passed the 40-minute mark here at Meadowbank. Harfield with a throw down the line. Kwame Thomas heads on. Stokes heads inside. I think Tolaj was being impeded, but very subtly, and the ref didn't spot anything. They go back to Mail, who clears up towards halfway. Kean Harries wins the header. McManus sends it back. Widrington heads it forward. And, wow, Lauren Tolaj tried an acrobatic bit of control and to feed it in one move to Ryan Glover, but it heads into touch. And
what's just happened there, Rob, sort of symptomatic of our Aldershot of play, because he did bring that down quite well, and then he just looked for his teammate there, overhit it, and it's been that sort of story for the first 40 minutes, hasn't it, from Aldershot, sort of misplaced passes or overhit passes, and they don't look like a side that have been, winning 4 in a row and quite subdued behind the goal. So I think Dorking management and fans will be quite happy at the moment, but as we know, there's a long way to go, and we've been on the reverse of some fixtures that have gone against us in this season at home. So
we haven't mentioned him yet, but in charge of the shots this time last year was Ross McNeely, who sat on the Dorking Wanderers bench this afternoon, and he's the only one that's heading for a 100% record this afternoon, having plotted Wanderers' downfall last year. He left Aldershot, of course, and was considering his options really over the summer until Beardy left to go to Eastbourne, and Mark White put a call in, and Ross McNeely's now here. He's been here since the start of the season. Mixed fortunes, of course, for Wanderers this season, but they'll be pleased with their afternoon's work so far. Jordi van Stappershoff with a goal kick, headed away by Fuller, back to Widrington, who goes back again, and Aldershot go forward down the middle looking for Tolaj, but he thinks he's fouled, nothing given. Cook spreads the ball to Pryor, who lifts it over the top. And Kean Harries is goal side, tees it up, volleys it away. It'll be taken down by Pryor again, who is deep. But his pass for Mewett, to be fair, put Mewett under a little bit too much pressure. He couldn't keep it in play. Throw in to the shots.
Ball from both teams there, well, wasn't it? And I think, I'm not sure whether Tolaj was fouled, but I think as McManus slid in, it looked like he handballed it when he was down on the ground. I think that's what a few people were appealing for.
Good afternoon to Mike Winfield, who's now tuned in. Said a few other things on this afternoon. It's been all Dorking so far in this first half. I remember there was different opinions about the first half of this game last season. Both sides felt they'd been the better. There's absolutely no question who'd been the better side in this first half. Aldershot Town have not laid a glove on Dorking Wanderers, and I can't quite believe, James, that I'm watching the same team that I've just watched win the last 4 games. The fluidity of the play, the creation of chances, still nothing written on my pad 43 minutes in. Ball forward, Pryor, he could only head it backwards, and he was fortunate on that occasion to find a Dorking player. They come down the right hand side. Glover, who's had far more defensive work to do, very little joy going forward in that left wing back position. He heads it into touch. And Fuller will take the throw for Wanderers. You wouldn't think it was the big game that it is. You wouldn't think. The atmosphere hasn't been the best considering the crowd here. There's Harfield doing well to win the ball back from McManus. Lays it down the line towards Stokes, who chests it down and is adjudged to have handballed it. He can't quite believe it, but he'll do best to accept the decision. Otherwise he'll pick up a 4th yellow card of the season. He's got 3 himself, Josh Stokes.
Referee was looking right at that. He had a good view of it, but
he did
look a bit unfortunate.
I wouldn't say he's been a fussy ref either. He's not trying to be the centre of attention. He's got good vision of everything. As 6'2" or so, whatever he is. Another free kick then to Wanderers over on the right hand side. Luke Moore sends it in. Comes off the head, I think, of Kean Harries. Goes behind. It'll be another corner to Dorking Wanderers. The only side that's had any shots or efforts in this game, the only side that scored, the only side that's had any corners as well. And now Bobby Joe Taylor and Luke Moore are trotting very slowly.
No rush.
Over to
no
take
rush
this
to go
one.
over into the corner. Bobby Joe again endearing himself to some former fans over there, and Luke Moore seen it all before as well, of course.
A lot of gesticulation from his perch on the on one of the kits, the stall from Ross McNeil. He gets to his feet now. The yellow card has been shown, I think, to Luke Moore for the obvious time wasting. It used to be towards the end of games. Now it could happen at any time during the game. Setting up for a short corner. Now he's going to take it long. In it comes to the far post, and Glover gets up in front of Gallagher and heads it away. We're going to have 5 additional minutes here at Meadowbank. Dorking Wanderers 1, Shots 0. Here's Gallagher going to send in a ball from deep. Header is towards goal. It's from Pryor, I think, but
it's another corner.
It is another corner. Aaron Jones, you could tell, was desperate to clear it, but the ball was already over the line. So
I don't think Luke Moore's going to be wasting time this time to go over and take this. This is where those sort of decisions come back to bite you a little bit if you're on set pieces, because you've got to then hurry everything up, and I think it's the right thing that referees do that
Just
now.
taking his while to get there with Bobby Joe Taylor again. And again, I think they fancy, although setting up for the short one, to send it in, and it comes. Harfield heads away at the near post. Mewett volleys into the wall, or the body of players. Stokes will clear it away on halfway, up towards Pybus, who sends it back in. Harfield with the header. Back in it comes from Mewett. Harfield with a downward header, and then he sticks his foot through it. I think there might be some strips coming off the walls in the Aldershot Town changing room at half time, as the rain suddenly arrives from nowhere here. Aaron Jones clipping a ball down the line there, looking for Cook, but Stokes gets in front of him, gets to the byline, pulls it back, cut out well by Gallagher. He clears up towards Jason Pryor, brilliantly taken in his stride by Bobby Joe Taylor, but he can't keep it in. He clears the ball away, and he gets the benefit of the doubt from the referee, who you could tell was considering should that be a yellow card as well.
Yeah.
And Bobby Joe Taylor's got away with one, because in the current game that is a yellow, isn't it?
A bit fortunate there, Bobby Joe Taylor. You're right about the weather now, Robin. The players are going to have to be careful now, because this does take on a different feel, this pitch, when the rain starts coming down. You might see players slipping over, and just the momentum shift of the ball, sometimes it skids on, so that'll be interesting to see if this continues.
Okay, we are 2.5 minutes nearly into a minimum of 5 added on. Stokes flicks the ball around the corner. Gallagher possibly could have had more time there, but he volleys it into touch. Glover will get it, an Aldershot on a rare foray into the Wanderers half here. And I know what you'll be thinking as a Wanderers fan, James. You're thinking, wouldn't it be ironic if Aldershot would go and finally make a final third entry and stick the ball in the net up and make it 1-1? But that's how it is when you support a team. But
absolutely. Yeah, it would be wanting half time.
Yeah, Willard, edge of the area, sends the ball into Thomas. He sends it out to the left-hand side to Harfield. He's got an overlapping run from Glover, but it's a poor pass, and it's cleared away by Dorking, only as far as Harries, who feeds Harfield. Harfield skips past Pybus, finds Josh Stokes on the left touchline, skips back on his right foot. Will he send a delivery in? He does, but it's poor, and it's headed away by Jason Pryor, who knows just where to be in these final couple of minutes of the first half, protecting Dorking Wanderers' precious lead, protecting his goal that separates the sides. Widrington and Rowe exchanges passes into Tollage and back again. Aldershot finally putting some pressure on the final third. And the ball's terrible from Rowe, looking for Jones, but can only find Bobby Joe Taylor. And here comes Niall McManus with a counter-attack for Dorking. A good foot in from Harris to win the ball back. And he finds Theo Widrington, takes the ball nicely on the half turn and feeds Ryan Glover. Glover skipping back to the right-hand side, looking for options, plays it low across to Aaron Jones. He hasn't got a lot in front of him, so he goes back to Kobe Rowe. Rowe exchanges passes with Jones again. We're into the 50th minute of a minimum of 5 added on here. Willard gets the ball 10-15 yards outside the penalty area central, moves it to the left, finds Glover out to Harfield. Can he make room for a cross? He can. Tollage half hits it, doesn't really get a hold of it. Mail sees it and snaffles it, and that should just about be it by the time Wanderers have wasted 30 seconds here, James.
Yeah, that was good play by Aldershot that time. good passing, kept the ball well, worked it well out to the left, and cross came in. It was a good cross as well. He just couldn't get more convincing touch on it.
20 seconds left of the added time. That goal kick's going to bounce once and go through to Jordi van Stappershoef. We know there's cameras on the wall in the Dorking dressing room. I'd love to see what there was in the Aldershot. It's another poor ball down from Rowe, looking for Stokes. Picked off easily by Pybus. Rowe does well to recover. Cuts it out. There is the half-time whistle. Bang on time. 50 minutes gone. 1-0 then to Wanderers. Here's the first half thoughts of former Dorking Wanderers player James Lampard.
Yeah, I think Wanderers fully deserved to be 1-0 up at half-time, Rob. Possibly could have been 2 or 3 with the chance from Muriet as well and Joe Cook's header. But as we know, there have been occasions this season where Dorking have been guilty of perhaps just playing in one half. And I think that's going to be something that Mark White's going to have to emphasise at half-time, is that we really need to push on in this second half and not give Aldershot a sniff.
Good stuff. That's James Lampard. I'm Rob Worrell. You're listening to BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. We'll hand you back now to the studio. Over to you, George.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
Did you say that? You couldn't hear me?
Yeah.
As long as you can hear him.
Yeah, I can, yeah. That left one's not doing much.
Very well done, Wanderers.
Thank you. Good. Is he that sort of manager, is he?
Yeah, he's very good.
Is he? I like the fact he wears a suit.
Yeah. Players for home.
I love them. They have to turn up in small. Do they? What, like shirt and tie and stuff?
We call it not shirt tie, just
Right. Oh, okay.
you and I were talking old school.
Yeah.
Opposed to good school.
Yeah, I think that's not a bad thing. Yeah.
The good thing about being on the radio is we can back up at half time and have a proper break.
Yeah.
Normally I'm waiting for play another
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Very, very good. Very good. I'm deliberately not coming too frequently.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my concentration levels because I was supposed to go on 10, 20, 45.
Okay.
It's easy to forget all the things that I'm trying to do. Through that framework.
Yeah, they normally, the players that are in squad and stuff, back right end forward, I don't think there's enough seats for it sometimes. It's so simple.
I don't know why shots are coming to this one without having an over here. He's so out there, so he's got it all down. He's a Portuguese player. You've got him on there.
No, it's it. What position is it?
He plays centre back, but he'll come forward with the ball with players. Like Rowe gets in there and he's a practice, isn't he?
It looks quite a funny shape, that goal, isn't it?
He was in Sutton's side for a while.
There was a time and a girl of a different kind.
I think the best news for Aldershot is that it's over 1-0.
Quite fortunate at times, Jimmy's chance and put his head on.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
There's always, this one's always on. Yeah. I get used to it, to be honest. Oh, yeah.
the people listening always think, hey, we get some bonus. You get to hear what's going on in the background. The reality from just human beings doing our job, having a chat at half time. What have you managed to bring at the moment? Stuck. Wanderers would, yeah. What do I want? Split up. Oh yeah, well, yeah. 2 years ago, that. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to get people going, doesn't it? Aldershot were attacking that early start. Fans were much more behind them. They've been so quiet, I cannot believe how quiet. Yeah, absolutely. I've noticed that over a lot of years, that when there's no roof open and the atmospheric time, they don't tend to make much difference. There is it. Equally, because of the leagues that have been thrown away, it's not exactly party atmosphere in the Dorking anymore.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Wigginton's not taken any of this up yet, though, is it? He needs to get some sort of kickabout or anything. Yeah, oh no, that's the professional part of that. I think we need the energy of Tyler Cross and Anderson over there, probably. From a shot point of view. the plug bit as well, or not?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's all right, mate.
Lifesaver.
Look at the notes on my pad for our chances.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
Nothing.
Not been great.
Stay in the game.
Just the thoughts during half-time here, just with our online listeners. A couple of contrasting thoughts. Keith Deere says, I'm sure Mr. Widrington is giving the hairdryer treatment. Alex Ferguson style at half-time, as they need a rocket placed at their rear. And Mike Brown said, very interesting listening to James adding his honest and genuine insight into Dorking's style of play. Shots being completely outplayed all over the pitch first half. Hopefully a jolt from Tommy at half-time and a revigored performance with a win at full-time. Yeah, no, that's okay. One more's fine. Yep. I'll let you know, Cameron, as soon as I see the teams coming out. But it should be okay. It should be okay to get one more record in. How you find it?
Even when we used to come to the old Meadowbanks with Dorking, when it was around and that grass bank around it, we always used to go over that same side. And it kind of gravitated to this.
You've been at 50 odd years. I've literally been everywhere really. Back in the really early days over on what they call the slab, and a lot of years on the corner of the North Stand and the East Bank. I love the atmosphere of the East Bank, but not the view.
Okay.
I don't like looking straight down a football pitch.
Is that behind the goal? Is that
Yeah. I would much prefer get spoiled, of course, with commentary being halfway down.
Yeah.
Hello. Approximately that, yeah. I can see Mark White emerging already from the dressing room, and after this song, yeah, go for it. We'll hold it. We'll take it from there. Yep, lovely. Thank you. For those of you listening online, just wondering, I'm chatting with the producer because we're going out live on the radio as well this afternoon. BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey, as well as BBC Online and the BBC Sport app. All right, James Lampard and myself, Rob Worrell, have got our headphones and the microphones back on. We're ready to go. The teams are just making their way out onto the pitch, and in around 30 seconds or so or less, the BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey listeners will join us. Boreham would have equalised at home to Southend. Thank you very much indeed, George. Perfect timing. Both teams are out. Dorking just completing their little warm-up routine. So 1-0 to the Wanderers then at half-time. I can't see any preparations for any half-time substitutions. Tommy Widrington, the last out of the Aldershot town dressing room. And, well, Dorking Wanderers in their home kit of red and white stripes, blue shorts and red socks. They're going to kick off towards their covered end away to the right, where the most noise from the Dorking supporters come. Aldershot will kick towards the end where the majority of their 900 or so Shots fans are. They've been kept pretty quiet and stifled in the first half, much like their team, by Mark White's men. So, welcome back to our BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey listeners. Joining our online listeners, we're back underway for the second half here at Meadowbank. Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0. The ball's quickly in touch. And James, what do you think the message will have been in that Dorking dressing room at half-time? More of the same?
I'd like to think it would just be more of the same, Rob. As I said to you just before half-time, the concerns have been this year where we only kind of played in spells and sort of one half, so that needs to stop today, because I don't think Aldershot will be as bad in the second half as they were in the first.
They'd be going some if they were, as Harries clears to touch and just lands inside the tall fencing over on the far side. For me personally, from an Aldershot Town point of view, I think they're lacking energy and pace, and when I look at the bench I see Minoga, Frost and Barham, and those are the three players I'd be reaching for at whatever junctures Widrington feels. I don't think he'll wait too long to make a change. We're looking
straight at the bench, and it looks like there's some lads over there that are putting their tape around their socks and getting themselves pretty prepared to come on. There's a couple, if not two, then maybe even three, that Jack Barham looks to be one of those at the moment as well, and fresh fans will know all about him. Fresh
from a couple of goals in midweek against one of his former sides. It will be set up nicely for him. Here's Harries clipping the ball up to Tolaj. Comes off of Gallagher and lays the ball back to Rowe. Aldershot individually and collectively will be looking for a better performance in this second half. There is a free kick given away by Moore there against Kwame Thomas. Shots kept possession anyway. They take the free kick from behind where it could have been, just to keep possession moving. Rowe sends a ball down the right hand side. That's going to drift into touch. Way too much expectation for Josh Stokes. And as you rightly say, it won't be long, I'm sure. I would see probably, from Aldershot's point of view, of course, they need to make sure that they don't concede in these opening 5 or 10 minutes of the second half again. And then probably a double change. And I would have thought the likes of Barham and Frost most likely. There's Rowe, surely fouled, ends up in the floor, nothing given. Headed away by Cook, up towards Bobby Joe Taylor. But Harries quickly onto that one, finds Harfield. And Harfield, who could have fed Glover, just decided to go back to Jordi van Stappershoef, taking no risks. 2.5 minutes into the second half now. Harries bombing his way straight through the middle of the pitch. And he's eventually challenged, but sends it out to the left-hand side to Glover, who can't take a relatively straightforward pass under control. Harries jogs back. That was a little bit too easy for Aldershot to get.
It was a little bit, wasn't
it,
Rob? And that's the first time we've really seen one of the defenders sort of stepping forward. And I think, again, if Aldershot are going to get anything out of this, they're going to have to put some emphasis on perhaps one of their centre-backs and one of their defenders just bringing the ball through there, just to become that extra man.
And that's exactly what Haji Minoga loves to do. Here's Harries, volleying the ball back into the Dorking half, but it'll bounce once in front of Fuller. Into touch, throw in to Dorking Wanderers. So 48.5 minutes gone here, and the Wanderers still lead thanks to the 8th minute goal from Pryor. Gallagher with the back pass to Mail. Tollad shutting him down, so it's cleared long. Harries wins the header. Stokes looks to flick it on. Thomas can't get there. Gallagher can, and he finds Fuller. Fuller down the line, looking for Pryor, but cut out by the chest of Harfield. He volleys it inside, and that'll go straight to Bobby Joe Taylor, but poor touch from him. Aaron Jones picks it up and releases Tollad, although it comes off the heel of Tollad. He has to go back and collect. Tries a shot, deflection! Past the far post. I think Aldershot might have won their first corner of the afternoon. The ball came in from Tollad, there was a deflection on it, and it's gone behind. Corner to the Shots, and probably the best moment of the match so far for the Shots.
Yeah, for Aldershot there. I mean, he's got that on that strong left foot, hasn't he? He's whipped it in, sort of a cross shot, real dangerous area. Not sure where the initial deflection was, whether it was on the first one or whether it was Harrison, Mail or Dan Gallagher in the box there, but it has ended up giving Aldershot a corner.
Which Glover will take now. And it comes, Rose up there. A foot on it, goes behind. I think that was Kean Harry's foot, I think. No, it's been given as another corner. McManus not too happy with that. Certainly, if he did touch it, Harry's, he styled it out, and his body language suggested it was a corner. I've got my doubts. Have you?
No, I mean, the linesman's obviously got a better view than us, Rob.
He certainly has.
It looked like he was jogging over there quite nonchalantly there, as though that was an obvious corner.
50 minutes gone, 1-0 Wanderers. Corner from Ollie Harfield. Rowe is fouling Cook, and then he heads it behind. He has a little appeal. Needs to make sure there's no swear words in that appeal. Needs to make sure he doesn't continue it. Otherwise, it would be a 5th yellow card for Kobe Rowe. According to the stats in the Aldershot Town match programme on Tuesday night, he was already on 4, and he definitely got booked. I didn't expect him to take part in today's game, but he's out there, so maybe it didn't go through, or maybe he was only on 3 before that. Dorking Wanderers taking a free kick inside their own area, and well, Josh Stokes has done really well to shut down Gallagher in possession. But as he intercepts the ball, it comes off of him again, Stokes, and it'll be a Dorking Wanderers goal kick. But already a better start from the Shots, and you can kind of see and feel a little bit the nerves in the Dorking lineup. Here's Stokes flicking the ball into the path of Tollad, takes it under control just inside the penalty area. Gallagher reads it brilliantly. He'll clip it forward to Pryor. Pryor misses his header. Harries clips the ball back into Willard. Nice take, but then he's bundled down by McManus. Nothing given, though. Ref says there's no free kick there. And McManus feeds Moore. And Moore works his way out to the right-hand side, tries the ball through to Jimmy Mewitt. Can he get his cross in? Yes, he can. And a header. Half flicked away by Harries. Bobby Joe Taylor arrived at the far post, got his head on it, but headed it over the bar. It was always going to be a difficult one, James. It's a goal kick to the Shots, 51.5 minutes gone, still 1-0 Dorking.
Yeah, it was all happening there, wasn't it, Rob? I think the Aldershot player just sort of lost his footing, and I think the referee was right there just to play on, because it didn't to me look like a foul.
Yep. He was well positioned, the ref as well.
And then the ball from Luke Moore put Jimmy Mewitt into a good position again. His cross was into a good area. That kind of just reaction from Bobby Joe Taylor, wasn't it, really? I just couldn't guide it in at that sort of pace. But promising signs again from Dorking, but as you say, Rob, Aldershot have come out, and you know that there's going to be a storm here for Dorking to try and weather.
Deep ball from the left, over everybody. Mewitt clears it into touch. Eastbourne Borough, by the way, 2-0 up against Slough Town now. More from Kevin Anderson on that at full time. Here at Meadowbank, it's Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0. Willard under pressure from Seeger, goes back to Harries, gets it back again, and then rides the challenge of McManus. Good composure from Willard, and I mention it week in, week out in commentary. He's a forward that is playing in the centre of midfield for the 5th or 6th game running. He's just feeling his back of his calves there as well as he comes out of possession. There's Tollad taking the ball well. Cook can't resist trying to take it off him, gives the silly free kick away. Only just outside the centre circle. Aldershot take it quickly from well behind where it was. And Tollad is limping away a little bit. Early ball forward into the big chest of Kwame Thomas. He gets it under control, takes it down. Glover gives it to Harfield. Harfield squares it off the Dorking player, Mewett, and deflects nicely into the path of Harrison Mayle. And we talked a lot off air, James, before today about a lot of little moments not going Dorking's way. That one did.
It did that. It did that time, Rob. Yeah.
That one didn't.
Good
no.
refereeing, actually, that was, because he's
Yeah.
just allowed Aldershot to take that quick free kick, which I like sometimes. You know, you don't need to put it down and wait for a whistle, especially if you're in the ascendancy anyway.
Good control from Stoke, shrugs off a couple of Dorking players. Glover slips it inside. Widrington made a good run into space, but Glover didn't find him. Glover now comes forward. Now he uses Widrington, gets the ball passed back from him to the edge of the area. He might try a shot from distance, he does, but it's blocked. Only into the path of Kobe Rowe. We're 54 minutes gone, still 1-0 here to the Wanderers, but Aldershot looking a little bit more at it in this second half. Here's Aaron Jones onto a loose ball, fed by a Dorking player, goes back to Ryan Glover, approaching the edge of the area now, back onto his right foot, tries a little clipped ball in, appeals for handball, nothing given, and Dorking play the ball up to Pryor, who touches it into the path of Bobby Joe Taylor, who skips the challenge of Rowe and bursts down the left wing. McManus is free on the far side if Bobby Joe Taylor can find it. Pull back to Pybus, good tackle from Glover, shot comes in from Pryor, blocked by Harfield, and then eventually lifted over the bar. I think it might have been from Seeger. 54 and a half minutes gone. Still 1-0 Wanderers, but a great opportunity there.
Such a promising position. Really good one from Bobby Joe Taylor. And then there were options square. They were all pointing through it. Luke Moore, Niall McManus. He pulled it back down Pybus, and then it just allowed the Aldershot defenders to get back in there and block that shot. And then after it bounced around, I think it was Seeger that looped the volley over the bar. But such a good position again there from Dorking on the counter-attack. And I think that's what a lot of this second half's going to end up being, Rob.
Goal kick to the shots taken short to Rowe. Shots statistician Pete Stamford pointing out that one of Rowe's 4 yellows this season prior to Tuesday night was in the FA Cup, so he's now on 4 in the league. Thank you for that, Pete Stamford. That's why he's able to play today. He's on the ball now. Kobe Rowe tries the long diag again, looking for Kwame Thomas. Gets the flick on into the path of Stokes, who touches it back to Glover. Shots on the edge of the penalty area. Glover tries a back heel, doesn't come off. The ball's picked up by Mewett. Little things that were coming off for Aldershot in the last few games are not coming off today. That's poor on this occasion from Pryor. And Van Stappershoef clips the ball straight down the middle. Thomas battles for it. Tolaj might just get there first. He does in front of Bobby Joe Taylor and feeds Aaron Jones. Shots have dominated the first 10 minutes of the second half, although that one chance there to Dorking. Tolaj plays the ball in straight to Pybus. Falls on the floor. Nothing given by Callum Walchester, the referee. And, well, the next goal in this game, James, is going to be critical. Whoever
yeah,
gets
definitely.
Yeah.
The game's livened up now, isn't it, Rob? There were phases in the first half where it was very pedestrian, but this second half already has started at a much quicker pace.
Ball's in touch. It'll be a throw into the shots in the right back position. Time to go around our grounds. As we know, by half time, Crawley, who'd taken the early lead at Forest Green, were trailing by 2-1. What's the latest, please? Gary Smith. Throw into Aldershot on halfway. Harfield will take. Thomas heads on into the penalty area. Cook heads away. Back in again. Stokes taking it on his chest, battling away for it. And it's hooked into touch by Barry Fuller. Ball's in touch again. Thank you very much indeed, Gary Smith. And Bryn Lucas, have we had a goal at Woking? Shots then with the throw. Harfield into the area. It's half clear to the edge of the area. Willard picks it up. Gives the ball to Harfield. Harfield into Glover. Glover goes back to Harfield. He's into the edge of the penalty area now, and brilliant defensive work there against Harfield. and it will be a goal kick. Thank you very much indeed, Bryn. So that's an update elsewhere here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. It's Dorking Wanderers 1, Aldershot Town 0, and Dorking Wanderers defender who did so well there up against Ollie Harfield has collided with the advertising hoardings. James, who is it?
That's Jimmy Mewett who's done that there, Rob. Those hoardings there isn't a huge amount of runoff at the end there, and he's done really well to shepherd that out of play, and then he's smacked straight into the board, which is another obvious concern for Dorking.
So approaching the hour mark, and 3 players from either side are going through extensive warm-ups over on the far side. It's Mullins and Haig and Barham for Aldershot, and Ottaway. Of course, Dorking have already made 1 substitution. So Mewett is limping away rather gingerly to walk past the Aldershot Town fans and make his way back to the halfway line here. I dare say he's getting a few gesticulations and then 1 or 2 words in his ear from the Shots faithful, who'll be wanting to take their frustration out on somebody, James, won't they? Because it hasn't been a great hour for football from the Shots, although the last 10-12 minutes have been their best so far.
Yeah, a couple of Aldershot players just over here in front of us, weren't they, Rob? Just whilst that was happening, just having a bit of an animated chat with the linesman over here. I'm not quite sure what that was about, but Jimmy Mewett's just trotted back round to the halfway line. Looks like he's going to be coming back on once that 30 seconds is up.
Rowe in possession, in space, as he's often been. Tries the long diagonal ball again towards Kwame Thomas. Fuller beats him to it, but Widrington picks up the loose ball. Glover touches it to Harfield. Harfield with the cross in, and it's well headed away by Joe Cook as Laurent Tolage, the Swiss striker for the Shots, was lurking behind him. Willard retrieves the ball quickly and gives it back to Rowe. Rowe to Aaron Jones, who touches it into the path of Willard. Willard advancing now, tries the ball out to Stokes, who goes down on the edge of the penalty area, and the linesman has flagged for the push on Josh Stokes, and the assistant referee has given, I believe, a penalty for the Shots. Stokes wandered towards the ball. He's not the sort to be fair, James, to go throwing himself down. Something was clipped away from him. The referee didn't see it, the assistant referee did. He flagged and he's given the penalty. 61 minutes.
I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, Rob. He's run off the back of Joe Cook, and all I can think is that he's clipped his heels, but it's one of those, I don't know if he's clipped his own heels or got his feet stuck on the 3G again, because it looked very innocuous. Like you say, that it was the linesman over there that's seen it and given it. The referee's having a chat with him, but I wouldn't be banking that he's going to be changing his mind here. That just looked very, very harsh on
he has already
Joe
pointed
Cook.
To the spot, and Kean Harries
now booking Bobby Joe Taylor
for his protestations or the foul. I didn't see who the Dorking Wanderers player was anyway, but regardless of that, somehow or other Aldershot Town have been given a potential route back into this match. We're in the 62nd minute at the moment. Kean Harries, when Aldershot were finally given a penalty a few games ago, stepped up to resolve an argument and took it. He scored. He took and scored in the next game as well. And now he has an opportunity to get his 3rd goal of the season. All will have come from the penalty spot. Harrison Mayle in goal for the Wanderers, and the penalty to be taken away to our left in front of the Aldershot Town fans. Quite a lot of delays leading up to this one. We're into the 63rd minute now. Dorking, who bossed the first half and led thanks to that 8th minute goal from Jason Pryor. They had 2 or 3 chances to double their lead, but the Shots have stayed in the game. And here now, in the 63rd minute, they have an opportunity to level things from the spot. Kean Harries will step up, left-footed. Harrison Mayle bouncing from side to side. Harries sends him the wrong way, scores, calmly retrieves the ball from the back of the net, and Josh Stokes is the most excited, if you like, of the Shots players. He waves to the crowd, goes back to halfway, and James, you probably feared it, and now it's happened. Dorking 1, Aldershot down one.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about, wasn't it? That Dorking just sort of being guilty of playing in one half. I'm not entirely sure what happened with that penalty there, but he never looked like missing, did he? From the minute he stepped up there, he sent Mail the wrong way and put it in the bottom left-hand corner. This is going to be tough for Dorking now. Aldershot are obviously in the ascendancy. They're going to have that confidence now. They might just hold fire on some of those substitutes for a minute as well.
Absolutely. 63 and a half minutes gone now. You're listening to BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey. And we've got all square here now in the rain. I think it's just abated a little bit. I think there'll be more before the afternoon's done. These sides now locked level. Dorking with all the first half. Shots in the ascendancy in the second. Stokes sends the ball out to the left. It's not well controlled by Mewett. Glover picks it up, but his attempted through ball to Tolaj doesn't find its target, and Harrison Mail is onto it quickly. Good exchange between Wanderers. Bobby Joe Taylor into the path of Pryor. Now he's going to get it back. Seeger's making his way to the far post, and he somehow falls. You put Ollie Harfield favourite to clear it, was right in front of his own goal and either couldn't make contact or decided not to, and as it came through to Seeger, he looked surprised, he stumbled, and the moment came and went, James.
Golden chance, Rob.
If he keeps his feet, it's a tap-in.
He was crying out for that cross earlier from Bobby Joe Taylor in exactly the same position. This time he's done it, he's picked him out. I know the defender's gone to clear it and missed it, but Ryan Seeger, 2-3 yards out, has just tripped over his own feet there. Massive chance for Dorking to go 2-1 up.
Yeah, huge. I'm not sure if Harfield just didn't connect or at the last minute decided not to. It did. You get a lot of funny bowls, don't you? All the black rubber pellets flying up. It would have been very difficult one for Harfield if he had made contact, because he was 6 yards out, right in the middle of his own goal. He left it, and it proved to be the right decision, although you wouldn't have thought so. And Seeger, shaking his head, cannot quite believe A, that he's had such a relatively straightforward chance, and B, that he's not connected with it. Here he can't connect either. Glover picks up the ball, skips inside, finds Rowe, who can only divert the ball into the path of Bobby Joe Taylor, who's making ground across the pitch here and feeds Jimmy Mewett. Look at Fuller here on the overlap. Mewett doesn't use him, now he does. Inside the penalty area, squares it across, and Pryor miskicks now. 4 or 5 yards behind the far post. It wasn't the easiest to take, but he got his feet all wrong and he's put it into the crowd, and Pryor and Seeger have missed opportunities in consecutive minutes to put the Wanderers back ahead, James.
Yeah, really good chance again, Rob. Barry Fuller there rolling back the ears, getting round Jimmy Mewett on the overlap. Just slightly behind Jason Pryor and at awkward height at the back post there. I think he kind of overran it. But yeah, another really good chance for Dorking, and positive since the equaliser anyway.
Van Stappershoef with the goal kick up towards Kwame Thomas. Might have been being held as he tried to control it, but again, nothing given. Dorking building on the left-hand side. Seeger with the ball into the path of McManus. He's into the area, tries a shot, and that's just wide. And from Aldershot's domination at the start of the second half, Wanderers have had 3 chances in 3 minutes, James.
Yeah, really good again. Niall McManus making that run that time on his less favoured left foot. It was going to be hard from that angle. I think you'd have to try and go across the goalkeeper, but positive signs again from Dorking.
Yeah, they're doing really well, actually, just to re-establish a little bit of control in this game after the disappointment of conceding the equaliser. And some really good build-up play, particularly down the left side. Harries does well there to get to the ball before Seeger, and Tolaj is onto it. Can he skip inside of Joe Cook? He's trying to, and he's coming again for a second time, and he's getting a buffeting. Ends up on the floor. Referee gives no foul. There might have been at least one in there, but nothing was given. Seeger touches it into the path of Pybus, out to the left-hand side. Bobby Joe Taylor can't use Pryor because he's offside. He uses McManus, and Aldershot have lost a bit of shape here. Dorking are getting through too easily in the last few minutes. Here's Mewett down the right hand side, finds Moore out to Fuller. Fuller tries to cross to the far post. It's over everybody and out of play, but 3 efforts on goal, and a cross drifting harmlessly out of play, and I'm not quite sure what's changed here, but Dorking Wanderers are creating chances freely, James.
Yeah, it's good to see, because I did expect Aldershot to again regain the ascendancy after the equaliser, but the ease of which we've got down both sides is promising. But again, you know that this game is very, very finely balanced, Rob.
It certainly is 1-1 here. We'll try and go to our other games in the next minute or two. Perhaps just wait for a little stoppage in play, a throw in defensively, etc. Here's Harries trying to ball through the middle. Stokes goes for it. It's back with Harrison Mail. Let's see if we can get in touch now with Gary Smith at Forest Green. When we last went there, Forest Green were beating Crawley by 2-1. Is that still the case, Gary Smith? Seeger heading the ball on, half cleared by Harfield. McManus onto the loose ball, exchanges passes with Fuller. Good ball inside to Mewett. He's got the ball in a pocket of space, advancing to the edge of the penalty area, tries a shot, massive deflection on it, and in it goes. Rob. Jimmy Mewett scores on his return to the Wanderers. In truth, it's the fourth chance in 5 minutes. Dorking Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1. James.
I think that's taken a deflection, Rob, but that defending, they've backed off and it let Jimmy Mewett just run and carry it and just offer him the shot. As he's hit it, I think it's either sliced or shot across off somebody's chest, and then that's just gone straight down the middle of the goal.
So Mewett picking the ball up in space, advancing towards the edge of the penalty area, decided to have a shot. That shot took a deflection off a Shots defender. I think it might have been Cian Harries. Totally wrong-footed, Jordi van Stappershoef. And I have to say, in the last 5 minutes particularly, it's been coming. Wanderers retake the lead in the 70th minute. Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1. Just as we get ready for the restart here, and Aldershot preparing some substitutions, let's go over to Bryn Lucas at Woking and see what's happening between Woking and Bromley. Yet to take the restart here at Dorking, where immediately Ottaway comes on. Okay, that's still the state of play at Woking then. Back here at Meadowbank. We're back underway, and it's Ottaway who's come on for Dorking, and Shots have restarted. They've fallen behind again. Here's Rowe with the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Big leap from Kwame Thomas. Mail comes to the edge of the area and can't quite gather it, but manages to clear it as far as Fuller. Fuller up towards halfway.
Sorry, Rob, it's actually Jimmy Mewett who's gone off there. That was his last involvement in the game.
Pryor touches the ball into the path of Fuller. He goes down the right-hand side. Header from Ottaway, seconds after coming on. Cannons back off the crossbar. Harries touches it back to Harfield. Massive opportunity, and I don't know what's going on in the Aldershot Town defence. Dorking have had 5 chances in 6 minutes. They've taken the lead. Ottaway, seconds after coming on, rattling one against the crossbar, James.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Mewett's the substitute, Rob, and Barry Fuller there has flown down the wing like a 21-year-old right winger. Put an absolutely brilliant ball in for Harry Ottaway, who's glanced it again, and it's hit the crossbar and come flying out with his first touch. Suddenly the game is wide open by the looks of it.
Yeah, 18 minutes plus added time left. Tolaj in possession over on the far side. He goes down, and on this occasion he does win a free kick. Got a bit of a reputation, I think, Tolaj, for going down too easily. And referees often, if they see that early on in the game, tend to be less sympathetic. But on that occasion, it's the assistant referee on the far side who's flagged for the foul in Aldershot's favour again. Very, very important decision he stood up and made, the assistant referee, to flag for the penalty for the foul on Stokes, from which Cian Harries levelled. But from that minute on, the Wanderers have been way on top again. They're deservedly ahead. 73 minutes now. Free kick comes in from the Shots, headed on. Widrington clips the ball back in. Thomas jumps, loose ball, shot from Frost, who's come on for shots, gets that one horribly wrong, and it goes wide. And that's a little substitution for the shots that I didn't see. Must have been taken before the game restarted. And I think it might be Tommy Willard that's gone off for the shots. It is indeed. Tyler Frost's energy tends to make a lot of runs off the ball. He'll surge forward, probably play a little bit more attacking than Willard has.
Yeah, I think obviously the emphasis is on Aldershot to get that runner going through. Just going back to that free kick, I think Joe Cook has played Tolaj pretty well, to be fair, Rob, but just that time he just dangled a leg, didn't he, and drew the foul.
Flick on from Ottaway finds Bobby Joe Taylor out wide to Ryan Seeger. Taylor's got it back again. Wanderers with their tails up here, not even thinking about holding on to a lead this time. They're going for more. They're going for the jugular. I don't know what the key change was, but Dorking getting in, and they're in again, but that one's too heavy for Fuller. Where is he getting his energy from? Just a few minutes played on his return from injury. He started today 74 minutes in, and he's making bursting runs on the overlap, James.
Yeah, I'd like to know, Rob, because whatever it is, if he could chuck some up in our direction, that'd be really good. I think he recently turned 39, Barry Fuller, so he's not playing like a 39-year-old, showing how fit he is.
Free kick given against Stokes here for a little pull or a tug or a trip or something, attempted trip on Joe Cook. So free kick to the Wanderers, who can do a bit of slow, quick, slow if they like here, and see what they've learned about Nous. I know Mark probably feels they've not shown enough of it recently. Certainly didn't like it when at 1-1 in the later moments at Bromley. All three centre-backs went up for a corner.
Yeah, game management key now for Dorking.
Absolutely. The ball's back with Jordi van Stappershoef. Ironically, Cian Harries may have scored at both ends. Although I'm pretty sure Mewitt's going to be claiming that one. The shot wasn't too far off target, if it was off at all. Here's Tolaj holding the ball up.
Yeah, it was going in, was it? Oh.
Wins a free kick just inside the Dorking half. Sorry, you think it was going in anyway, James? Or?
Well, it was on target, wasn't it? Just took that deflection off the chest. I think the keeper was looking for it to go to his right, and it deflected and ended up going straight. It's gone down the middle. There's another book in there. Not sure who that was.
I'm not sure whether it was
that was Pryor or Joe Cook. But Bobby Joe Taylor's gone down as well now, Rob, and looks like Callum Kennedy is being readied on the bench.
That's not good to see. But he's holding his knee. Aldershot going to make another sub as well. They are. Surely they had to reach for this one. Jack Barham comes on for Theo Widrington. And that might mean now that, Aldershot are going to throw a bit of caution to the wind. They've collected a lot of points of late, and Widrington in these situations always has a little gamble. There's no doubt at all. Frost comes over to say, what is the shape now? Because all of a sudden Widrington's gone off and Willard's gone off, and I think Frost is wondering if he might be the only midfielder left for the shot.
you obviously know the Aldershot lineup and the shape better than I do, but it does feel as though they're thinking that there's something to get out of this with a late equaliser, and obviously Jack Barham's come on as well. Dorking fans know all about, and I'm sure he'll play right on the shoulder of the last defender and look for those runs in behind, which he was so good at when he was here at Dorking.
Bobby Joe Taylor gets to his feet and he's helped to the sidelines. Oldham have equalised against Altrincham for a second time today, and Maidenhead, who went bottom of the league after their 4-2 defeat to Shots on Tuesday night, are 3-1 up against Eastleigh. Good response from them. And we've got another substitution for Wanderers, James.
Yeah, that's another injury, isn't it, Rob? That's Bobby Joe Taylor going off. Callum Kennedy coming on. So the substitute himself has had to go back off again, and these are all hurting Wanderers now.
Ball into the area. Pryor's back there. He heads it away from danger, but can only find Glover. Glover presumably go back to Harfield here. Harfield will want to make room for a left-footed ball into the box if he can. Tries to play it through the legs of Pybus, but Pybus closes them just in time. Ball goes off him into touch. Throw in to the Shots. And throw in comes in from Shots. Flicked on by Kwame Thomas. A push, clear push in the back by the substitute Jack Barham into the back of Joe Cook, I think it was.
Yeah, it looks a
Not very subtle, that
blatant,
one.
Very blatant, wasn't it? Yep.
Yeah, very blatant. We're almost through 78 minutes here. And it's Dorking Wanderers 2, Shots 1. Dorking have led for most of this game. They were pegged back by Shots in the 63rd minute. That Cian Harry's penalty, but quickly got back in the ascendancy. Chances rained down on the Aldershot Town goal, and then Jimmy Mewett in space got the Shots defenders backing away, let fly, deflection, wrong-footed the keeper, 2-1. Dorking fans appealing for a foul against Rowe there. Rowe in the end does well and lets the ball drift out of play. And the Shots are heading for a rare defeat in recent times as the rain falls down lightly again. 4 wins on the bounce in all competitions. Dorking, of course, 4 defeats on the bounce. And that's football, James.
Absolutely. With the introduction of Callum Kennedy, it now looks like Dorking have gone to a back 4 with Kennedy going into the left back, Joe Cook with Dan Gallagher, and then Barry Fuller as a right back. So there's a little bit of change of shape there of the defence, and those 4 are going to be key here for the last 10 or so minutes.
Here's Tolaj holding the ball up for Frost. He drifts into a little bit of space on the left channel. Dorking 2, Shots 1. McManus closing quickly on Glover. Touches it back to Frost, who feeds Rowe, who most often has been the player with a bit of space and time on the ball this afternoon. He sends it across to Cian Harries. The Wanderers 10 minutes plus added time away from what would be a first ever victory against Aldershot Town, a first win in 5. Here's Glover on the edge of the penalty area, sends a ball in. Fuller gets there in front of Barham and may have been foul, but nothing given. The ball's ended up in touch.
Defending Barry Fuller.
Yeah, very brave defending. He will run through brick walls, literally. Aldershot with a throw on the far side. Aaron Jones has got the ball. Lots of movement one way than the other. Tolaj trying to get away from his man, falls over. The ball runs loose to Glover. Glover out to Aaron Jones, and Jones across to Cian Harries. He clips a ball into the penalty area, headed away by Callum Kennedy, and he finds Ottaway. Ottaway lifts the ball over his head, and the ball ends up in touch. It will be another throw to the Shots. And well, Dorking Wanderers have got a minimum of 10 minutes plus whatever's added to secure these 3 points here. Rowe lifts the ball forward. Conway Thomas gets his header on it, but only cushions his header straight to Luke Moore. Stokes sticks out a foot, but can't quite get onto it. Callum Kennedy will clip it up beyond halfway now, looking for Fryer, who doesn't make contact, nor does Rowe. And Harries touches it back to Jordi van Stappershoff, and the clouds are closing in.
I think we know how this next 10 minutes or so is going to play out, don't we, Rob? Because
ball forward from Rowe. Can Frost keep it in? Let's just wait and see here. Come back to you in a minute, James. It's Barham, sorry. I know it is Frost. Back to Jones, and now they go all the way back to Rowe on halfway. Yeah, I think Aldershot are going to try and push, and Dorking will try and hold on to what they've got. You're absolutely right. Here's Aldershot building patiently with Frost and Jones. Jones tries a clip ball into the area. It's left by Thomas, and now it'll come up towards Fryer. And lovely touch round the corner from Moore, finds Seeger. McManus has run into an offside position. Seeger and Moore exchange passes twice, 3 times, and then McManus takes it under control, and Dorking, who bossed possession over the afternoon, if they can boss that 70-30 like they've done for most of the game, then they won't have any trouble in 70% of the remaining 10 minutes.
Callum Kennedy getting it in the left back position there and just whacking it straight through to the keeper hasn't helped there, Rob. And this is where Dorking's lack of pace is going to hurt them a little bit, because even if you do try and counter, there isn't really anybody that can carry that and get that threat forward, which is why you might see McManus or Pybus try and take that role.
Chesterfield are 2-1 up at Kidderminster, who are also down to 10 men. Glover goes down in the left channel. There's a long delay before referee Walchester signals a free kick to the Shots. Glover stays down, and 82 and a half minutes gone. James, I see you away to my right shaking your head. You didn't think
I had my head in my hands there, Rob.
Sorry?
I had my head in my hands there. Fuller's got to that burst. He's kicked it against the Aldershot winger who's gone down, and I think he's ended up getting himself booked out of that, and it just I wasn't immediately sure that the ref was going to give it. It was one of those delayed ones.
I will say this for the ref,
reaction.
who overall has had a good game. He kept up with play really well, considering we're in the 83rd minute. He wasn't very far away, and you and I are obscured by a pillar and a bit of glass or perspex at the end of the stand, so we'll have to give him the benefit of the doubt, even if it is going to provide more nervy moments for you, James. Shots trailing here 2-1 at Dorking Wanderers. We'll try and get one more update from our other games if we can, but is this going to be a key moment for the Shots? Harfield with a free kick, level with the edge of the penalty area, 10 yards outside it, a golden opportunity to deliver a cross of precision into the box. Rowe is up there, Kwame Thomas is up there, Kean Harries is up there. There's a lot of pushing and shoving off the ball. Up steps Harfield with the ball into the box, headed away by Pryor. Who else? As far as Glover. Glover back on his right foot. Spreads it back to Jones. Jones out wide to Frost. Frost to clip a ball in. That's headed up in the air by Moore and volleyed away by Pybus. Moore across the pitch. It'll bounce once and then probably drift into touch on the far side. It is Frost grabs it quickly and takes the throw.
You obviously know more about Aldershot and the way they line up at set pieces than I do, Rob, but I was really surprised to see a left footer take that free kick on the outswing, because with Harrison Mayle not being the tallest keeper and the size of some of the Aldershot attackers, I thought a right foot in swinger there underneath the crossbar in that 6-yard box would have been more suitable, really.
In truth, Ollie Harfield's left foot has been the provider of most goals for Aldershot Town this season. 7 assists with his crosses in from the left. That'll probably answer your question. And Aldershot have got a great crosser of the ball, but probably not a Jason Pryor in the middle. Here's Barham battling away with Fuller. Gambles on an early touch, gets it under control. Fuller says, I'll have some of that, and poke it into touch. Away to our left, in front of the 900 or so Shots fans, Harfield takes the throw to Tollage, edge of the penalty area, back to goal. Quickly changes direction, brings Gallagher with him. Looks to play a little ball into Stokes. Stokes looks to give it back to him. Tollage in the penalty area, thought about going down, goes out wide, tries to clip the cross in, can't. It comes off deflection and finds Stokes. Stokes clips a ball in. Barham gets a header down on target, but it's easy. Bounce and a half volley catch for Harrison Mayle, who quite rightly goes down and wastes a few seconds. 85.5 minutes gone. Dorking 2, Shots 1, and you can breathe a sigh of relief for now at least, James.
Yep, for now, until the next one. Decent ball in. Probably fell to the wrong of the two strikers that was at the end of that there, wasn't it, Rob?
At the other end, Dorking looking to create a counter-attack opportunity for themselves. Ottaway involved. Aaron Jones hooks the ball away into touch. That's the end that Mark White would rather see the ball over the majority of these remaining 4 minutes plus added time. I thought the added time at the end of the first half was quite generous at 5 minutes. Let's see what we get at the end of this one. I can't go to our other games just yet. I will when I can. One last blast from Forest Green and from Woking. Free kick given to Aldershot in their own...
I think it's...
what's he given?
A throw. The linesman's given a throw. It's gone out of play.
He's given a throw, an attacking throw to Dorking, so we won't go just yet to Gary Smith. Dorking with the throw. There'll be no rush to take it. Pryor comes short for it. Round the corner, and it's drifting behind, but battling away Ottaway. And he wins the corner. Well done, Harry Ottaway. And again, we'll have to hold off going, but good work from Ottaway.
Really, really good that from Harry Ottaway. And like you said about the Bromley game, Rob, if you look around Dorking now, virtually anybody's gone forward for this corner at all.
No, the whole back four has stayed back. Harrison Mayle is obviously there. McManus is quite deep. Callum Kennedy's...
There's one Dorking... Jason Pryor is the only Dorking player in Aldershot's penalty area.
Yeah, it's taken short. And Frost comes over to take on Ottaway, who's holding it up, and he's doing a good job of it, to be honest with you, at the moment. Aldershot briefly win it back, and then Ottaway gets onto it again. He's down by the corner flag. Ball through the feet. Moore is onto it, but now Aldershot will get a chance to counter. Harry's with the ball straight to the middle, can only head it to McManus. Comes back to him, and he sends it forward looking for Kwame Thomas. Tollage goes down off the ball. Nothing seen, nothing given. On the ball for Dorking is Pybus. He goes back to Mayle, and we'll go, if we can, to Gary Smith at Forest Green against Crawley. Rowe coming out with the ball up towards halfway for the shots. Sends it diagonal out to the left-hand side. Over everybody. Seeger will get onto it and they'll hook it forward up towards halfway. It should eventually cross the line and go into touch. No, Harries keeps it in and squares it to Kobe Rose. Coming over halfway now. Let's just see how this play goes. Good overlapping run from Stokes. We'll go to Bryn Lucas at Woking in a minute, but ball clipped over the top. Well won in the air by Gallagher, and McManus steers it into the path of Moore. Moore back to Seeger. Overlapping run from Moore. He's being tracked now by Glover, and the free kick's given to Dorking. And as I guess they'll be in no hurry to take it, let's go over to Bryn Lucas. Woking against Bromley. How are we going? Thank you very much, Bryn and Gary, for your updates this afternoon. Right, from here until the final whistle, we shall stay at the Meadowbank, where Dorking are holding on to a precious 2-1 lead. In truth, they've been good value for it. There's a ball clipped over the top, nicely weighted by Moore, held up by Pryor, who feeds Ottaway, and again it's keep ball down in the corner flag. A good opportunity for Dorking Wanderers to show what they've learnt about game management in recent weeks. Can they finally get across the line with a win, with all 3 points? Can Ross McNeely become the only player from, or the only person from both clubs to have a 100% record in this fixture?
Just waiting for that board once that fourth official's.
Yeah, it should come up any time now.
Put it up now, Rob. 6.
Yeah, 6, just 6. I think a bit of a sigh of relief almost there from James away to my right. He was fearing 7, 8 or 9.
I'm not sure about that. 6 is plenty, isn't it? Sure where that's all come from, but she said we're perhaps generous in the first half, and this is going to be really, really all about game management now for Dorking in these last 6 minutes.
Throw in to Dorking, headed on by Pryor, taken down on his chest by Ottaway. He turns, can't come away with the ball, but McManus can, and he'll take it back to the corner again. And Aldershot will try and win it. In fact, that's got to be a goal kick. It is indeed. So 40 seconds through a minimum of 6 added minutes. Scott Quigley's pulled a goal back for Eastleigh on 90+5. I don't know if they'll have time to complete the comeback against Maidenhead, where it was 3-1. It's now 3-2. And here at Meadowbank, Dorking Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1. And could be on the verge of a precious 3 points here, Dorking Wanderers. They've got their first goals against Aldershot Town this afternoon. They're going to pick up at least a point for sure, but are they going to pick up all 3? Big leap from Kwame Thomas. Stokes flicks it over his head, but it goes straight through to Gallagher, up towards Pryor. Pryor holds it up well, but Frost and Rowe combine, and Moore picks the ball up, and there's a needless shove in the back from Stokes, who gives a free kick away. He'll get a yellow card as well. That's 4 for the season now for Josh Stokes. He's one of 4 players, I think, Aldershot are now on 4 yellow cards.
Couple of things, Rob.
Now,
I think
in a couple of minutes you get to name the man of the match for both sides. I think the official one's just been given to Joe Cook, hasn't it? Or did I mishear that? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
That won't be my choice.
It won't be yours. Okay, all right. We'll come to that. We'll wait until full time for that. But here's Ottaway bursting onto ball in the penalty area. Shoots, it's saved. He's trying to retrieve his own ball. Squares it to Seeger. In truth, Dorking could be so much further ahead in this game. As it is, it's 2-1, and we've got less than 4 added minutes. The ball's in touch again. The throw-in's been given to the shots. I've lost count of how many chances Dorking have had today. It's far in excess of Aldershot. It's at least 3 times as many as Aldershot. And Ottaway himself now has hit the crossbar and hit one straight at the keeper, James.
Chance for Ottaway really to wrap 3 points up there, Rob, wasn't it? I think you notice that when games enter this sort of time now, the defenders don't want to concede free kicks, they don't want to concede corners, so sometimes the forwards have that benefit where they just sort of ride through the tackles, and that's what happened there. And Ottaway just went through and one-on-one at an angle with the keeper, who who smothered the shot, and then Seeger took it out towards the corner flag.
It'll go away behind the Aldershot Town goal now for a goal kick. And that's another minute played out. So more good game management from Dorking. 93.08, 9:10 have gone, of a minimum of 96. Aldershot hoping for a late miracle. James just hoping that 3 more minutes pass without another goal of any sort. Ball forward. Gallagher heads away only as far as Kwame Thomas. Tolaj picks the ball up. He's going to try a shot from distance, and that is wide. He set off towards the goal, but it was swinging wide, and it ended up not even brushing the side netting in the end. Goal kick to Dorking Wanderers, and it looks like Mark White is going to get his first joy against Aldershot Town. 3 times the sides met last season. Aldershot winning 3-0, 2-0 and 1-0 as Harrison Mayle gets a yellow card now for time wasting. In truth, there wasn't much. All he did was change from one side to the other.
Not sure that he overly did time waste there.
No, I totally agree, but that's the modern game. Mayle steps forward and kicks it now. There's 1 3/4 minutes left. Good headed leap from Ottaway. Aaron Jones will touch it back to Jordi van Stappershoff. One touch, and surely he'll launch this one long now. Bodies heading forward for the shots. In it comes from Van Stappershoff. Barham touches it. Little bit of a shove away from him by Gallagher, who clears to a position of safety over on the far side. Harris can't quite keep it in. He will win the throw. He'll take it back to Jordi van Stappershoff. The shots been flying for a little while. They've not been allowed to fly today. They've been stifled by Dorking, who've been superb. Kwame Thomas comes over more to win it, but he only heads it to McManus. McManus to Ottaway, who sends it down the right-hand touchline, into touch again. We're into what should be the final minute here at Meadowbank. We've had some late dramatic finishes here at Meadowbank over the years. On this occasion, can Dorking Wanderers hold on for another minute? Rowe with a ball forward. Gallagher's going to win that one in the air, surely. McManus helps it on. Pryor can't get there in front of Rowe. Harris surely is going to touch it up to halfway and then launch it forward. He does. Callum Kennedy heads it away, only as far as Glover, who will retrieve it and probably try and send it deep back into the Dorking Wanderers penalty area. He does. In it comes. Kwame Thomas with a header. Frost heads it down, breaks to the edge of the area. Stokes touches it out wide to Glover. Can Glover get across in? He does. It comes off of Pryor, and Aldershot have got a corner in the dying seconds as the added time is up.
Wants to go up.
We are
the goalkeeper
into
is going up here,
added
Rob.
time at the end of added time. Van Stappershoff, all 6'5" of him, is coming forward. Could he? Surely not. In from half field. Van Stappershoff makes contact. Tolaj crashes in a volley, and some sort of combination of Mayle and Gallagher clear it behind for another corner to the shots. Glover's going to take. Seconds left here, if anything. Dorking 2, shots 1. Glover with a corner, one hand in the air. In it comes, headed away by Pryor. The referee looks at his watch. It's going to come back in again from Harfield. Headed away again by Pryor. And this time, Pybus should get onto it. He hooks it forward.
Goalkeeper's out here,
for
Rob.
McManus. Van Stappershoff is still out of his area. And there is the final whistle. Dorking Wanderers have done it. A first ever victory against the Shots, and deservedly so too. Final score here at Meadowbank. Dorking Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1.
Great result, Rob. Great result. I think, well, Joe Cook, Harrison Mayle have just let Aldershot supporters know what they think of that result, and I don't think Aldershot's goalkeeper is particularly happy. It's not good scenes at the end of the game because Dorking should be celebrating a really good win.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's occurred there, but let's wrap this one up and give you back to George very shortly. A reminder that Dorking took the lead in the 8th minute with Jason Pryor. They had a few chances to increase that lead, but couldn't do so. And the Shots, with a somewhat soft penalty on 60 3 minutes, got level through Kean Harries, but from then on in it was all Dorking Wanderers. They were worthy of the win, given to them in the 70th minute by Jimmy Mewett, who pulled the trigger from the edge of the area. A deflection in truth sent the ball past the wrong-footed Jordi van Stappershoef, and Dorking in truth since then could have increased their lead but didn't. Precious 3 points for the Wanderers. Shots will have to go again. Final score here, George, at Meadowbank, a first ever win for the Wanderers, 2-1 against the Shots. The attendance was 2,742 this afternoon. I don't know what the Aldershot attendance was, but we know it was somewhere between 900 and 1,000. So 2,742 here. A quick look at the other scores for our online listeners. A lot of the other games have now finished. It's Hartlepool 2, Rochdale 3, but still playing. Borehamwood 1, Southend 1. Ebbsfleet 0, Dagenham Redbridge 1, Gateshead 0, Fylde 4, Kidderminster 1, Chesterfield 3, Maidenhead 3, Eastleigh 2, Oldham 2, Altrincham 2, Oxford City 0, Barnet 2, Solihull Moors 1, Wealdstone 0, Woking 0, Bromley 1, and York versus Halifax to come later on this afternoon. If my scores app will update, we'll have a look at the National League table, where somehow this afternoon Aldershot hang on to a playoff place. Altrincham and Halifax above them still to finish, as of Gateshead behind them. But as for Dorking Wanderers, well, a precious 3 points, and they climb a couple of places by the looks of it in the National League to 15th. They go up to 21 points, 5 points clear of the relegation positions. Just a final chat with James for our online listeners. You're over the line, James. It's been a long time coming. Your first goals and your first points against Aldershot Town. How does that feel?
Yeah, massive result, Rob. That really well. I think on the balance of play, really well deserved by Dorking. Probably could have been more. Just that lack of composure in front of goal. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. We needed that. We really did need that, and we're happy with that.
Brilliant stuff, James. I hope you enjoyed your commentary debut this afternoon. You've been a pleasure to sit alongside. It's the honours, of course, have gone with the Wanderers on this occasion, but obviously I've seen 3 Shots defeats of Dorking in the last year, so we'll have to take this one on the chin. But I have to say, from a BBC Surrey point of view, a tremendous result, and the only one of the 3 National League sides to win this afternoon. That feels good too, I bet.
Yep, it does. Yeah, really good. Yeah, well deserved.
Excellent stuff. And
fans very happy.
I think in all the excitement at the end there, I don't know if you did get the opportunity to name your Aldershot and Dorking Wanderers player of the matches. I don't know if you've decided in your head, but perhaps you can wax lyrical until there's white smoke coming out your ears.
Yeah. Well, for Dorking, I think I'm going to give it to Dan Gallagher. I think he was absolutely brilliant at the back there, Rob. He was brilliant. He marshalled the Aldershot's forwards really well. I think Tolaj and Kwame Thomas probably didn't have great games up there for them, but Dan Gallagher was brilliant. You know, he's a utility player, can play in midfield, play in the back 3, and he was superb there today, and it's nice to see him be on the winning side.
Excellent, thank you very much indeed, James Lampard. Well, it's not been a fantastic game, but it's been a very effective game for Dorking. And when they count up the possession, the chances in both halves, they will clearly be deemed deserved winners this afternoon. Aldershot, really in truth, probably the better team only in the first 15 minutes of the second half, and Dorking in the ascendancy the rest of it. So, well, no midweek game this week, I don't think, for either side this midweek. Is there, or have Dorking got a game?
No game for Dorking now until Dagenham. Back here next Saturday. That's been rearranged because both teams are out of the FA Cup. That's been rearranged for next Saturday. Yeah,
and the Shots will travel to Swindon of League 2 to take them on in the FA Cup. They'll look to bounce back there if they possibly can. Thanks for joining us on the radio, online, via the BBC Sport app, this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon's coverage. Final score from Meadowbank: Dorking Wanderers 2, Aldershot Town 1. Just find the off button, James. There we go.